Welcome back to Study Break with Michael and Emily. Now we have two liberal guests. One of the guests is the president of the Students for Clean Energy, and he's the head chairman of the Michigan CSG University Sustainability Commission. He's also intern at the Environmental Protection Agency in Ann Arbor. Our other guest is a section editor and contributing writer for Michigan's chapter of the online publication Her Campus. She's also the new member coordinator of Alpha Delta Pi, aka 80 Pi, Beta Eta sorority, working to bring women together into a sisterhood-like atmosphere. So without further ado, please welcome Jayson Toweh and Brittany Boyle. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you. So Jayson, I want to start off with you. Clearly this election has a lot to do with social implications, but there are other implications as well, economic and environmental. You're involved with the environment a lot. Sorry, there's a bug in my face. The supposed next head of the Environmental Protection Agency is supposed to be Myron Ebell. He's suspected, I guess he doesn't believe in climate change. What are the implications of him coming in and potentially being the head of the EPA with his viewpoint?
Well, I'm really glad that you asked that. There is actually very, very high implications, especially with all of the legislation that is currently installed and that currently can be changed. So, for example, the Clean Power Plan, which is expected to drop 32 emissions by 32% from power plants, is currently held up by the Supreme Court. Now, with this change in the election, we're looking at that potentially getting repealed and revoked. Also, we're looking at, in this presidency, not following the Paris Climate Accords, which is a commitment on reducing our emissions to combat climate change and global warming. And the reason why this is key on the world as a whole is the U.S. is looked to as an example in fighting and combating climate change. And if we basically take ourselves out of all this process, other countries may do the same. Appointing someone who's publicly has denied climate change is both erratic and asinine in the sense, especially for the Environmental Protection Agency that's here to protect public health and the environment. Doing that does not do either of those things. And for anyone who argues against that, saying that climate change is uncertain or it's not a consensus, well, they're just wrong. I mean, every scientist, over 97% of scientists have agreed that climate change is a thing. Several models have shown that since the 1800s, we've been increasing both our CO2 emissions and our temperature significantly. And if we don't combat this significantly, we'll see drastic relocation, migrations, floods, sea level rise all over the coast, including Florida and the East Coast as well. Famine, yes, some places will get warmer, some places will get colder, some places will produce more agriculture, but as a whole, it'll be very bad.
Piggybacking off that, so you're basically saying that with him being the leader of the EPA, we're going to go down the drain as far as environment goes, right?
Yes.
Right. So what are you guys, what is your organization on campus within the CSG and the Students for Clean Energy? What are you guys trying to do to combat that and raise awareness? Is that one of the things you're trying to do? Are you going to try to create new plans to somehow get them out? What's your plan? Yeah,
so just in the environmental community as a whole, literally, and we've been talking about this through all the entire week, we looked at it and said, well, all the gains that are made easily about to be wiped away, so what can we do? And we basically came to the consensus that it's take a lot of effort. So specifically, so far, since election, with Students for Clean Energy, for example, we came together and we said, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to start writing letters to our legislators from all of our various states, because we're a pretty diverse club, and talk about keeping climate change and the environment in their mind. We're also planning on getting various heads of departments, possibly to see if we can get university support to draft letters to reps as well, to say that, hey, we want also to have climate change in your mind and the environment so that we can protect this. Additionally, we're in a few weeks from now, 2 weeks, we're planning on doing just basically a discussion and talk about climate policy in the U.S. and international as another way to engage students and faculty in learning about these issues that we're facing, so that we can see as a whole, it's troubling times in the environmental community, but through my networks of Students for Clean Energy and the Sustainability Commission, our goals are, how much can we do? We got to keep educating, we got to keep working hard, and actually we got to have a very, very active role, in our legislative process in contacting our elected reps to make sure that they keep a commitment to the climate and the environment and public health.
Okay. Now, Brittany, I want to shine a light on maybe the feminist viewpoint of this election. You've been very vocal on social media, and you are, like I said, you're editor for hercampus.com. What were your initial feelings after realizing that Donald Trump had won? You're a clear Hillary Clinton supporter as well, so what were your initial feelings after that?
Right. So election night was a difficult night to watch. I was with a handful of other Hillary supporters who are older students who are also part of my sorority. And my first reaction was general disbelief. And the two girls that I was with were particularly visibly upset about the results, notably because one of them is actually a social work student here. She's in the grad program, and for her, this election has really real implications for her profession, that social work for perhaps refugees, immigrants, people of minority groups, getting aid from the government in whatever way that manifests itself. There's a potential that those programs will be defunded, and for her that was a really terrifying reality to recognize, because she's really passionate about her field, and this election really felt like a personal loss. We've
talked about today about some of the implications of the election, and then kind of the aftermath of the hate crimes and all this other stuff going on. Do you have any thoughts on why that's happening, or how we can stop it? I feel as though Donald Trump's being elected to president, has really kind of has legitimized people's hatred towards people who are different from them. In regards to moving forward, I've really kind of been at odds with how I should feel and approach people of differing viewpoints. Just because on the one hand, I really personally, I can't let go of what these people's votes have upheld, because it's offensive to me personally as a woman, and I know it's offensive to many other people that I know and love on campus and just in this country in general. So at the moment, I really don't have a solution for moving forward. I'm really kind of working with it.
So I have one more question for the both of you guys. Do you think that Hillary Clinton's slogan is "Stronger Together"? Do you think that this country can eventually be stronger together? Can we unify both parties, the middle parties as well? Can we all eventually come together through all of this? You know, you can still have your viewpoints, but at some point be able to understand each other completely without criticizing each other for each other's viewpoint.
I mean, honestly, after the election, you know, one of the things that really impacted me was watching CNN, and like Van Jones was talking about how can he go home to his children and basically say, you know, tell them not to be a bully, you know, not to say these things, you know, or like there'll be consequences, and then, you know, you can have that, but, you know, we have a president who has shown through many times a lot of negative sides, a lot of hateful things, or things that, you know, have put people down, and it's really alienated a lot of people. So our country as a whole will need a healing process. I do think at one point, and after the outcome, after these 4 years, I really do think that America will see, they'll see all the negative things that came out of this election, and we'll join together stronger than we had previously, for the best. So I do see that there is a light, but I think in the immediate time, it will be, you know, a lot of disconnect.
You know, ultimately, we are a country, and that we as a people need to work together to ensure the betterment of our country, and that all voices are heard, and you can only do that through working together. But I think in the immediate time after the election, that people are really trying to protect their liberties, especially people that feel specific liberties are at risk. I've heard a lot of women calling one another to go get IUDs, to get birth control that is effective and long-lasting. I've heard many different minority groups calling one another to stay in safe spaces and keep a close eye on one another, because people are really concerned about their liberties, their well-being. And I can't criticize that, because I definitely empathize with that, and I feel that as well.
Well, we hope, clearly everybody here hopes that we can eventually come together and unify and be stronger than before. So thank you guys so much for coming today. Yeah. We really appreciate it. Thank you again for coming. We really appreciate it. For our last segment, we will do a game of charades with Jayson, Britt, Grant, and Amanda up next.